If you check out my video about why I chose to use the Pioneer DDJ SB3 for lots of my DJ gigs over the last few years, then it makes perfect sense that I'd choose to upgrade to the SB3, but I'll try and explain here why I like it so much and why I recommend it to beginner and professional DJs alike.
Hello.
The only time I'll take a controller to a gig is when the venue doesn't have any decks, so the first and most important factor for me is portability. The SB3 is a great size and very lightweight while still being big enough to DJ on for extended periods of time without getting frustrated and uncomfortable. I can slide it into a bag and carry it easily, even to the most inaccessible of DJ booths. Next is the layout, and this is where I found this controller really excels in its price range. The center console has everything I need and nothing extraneous to requirements. There's a nicely sized crossfader which feels good, and you can control the curve in Serato to swap from smooth blends to sharp cuts for scratching. There are two volume sliders with nothing in the way that could accidentally be knocked when moving quickly between them and the crossfader. Each channel has its own dedicated level meter to check that you aren't redlining. In the upper section we have a browse knob and load buttons to select tracks as well as the master and headphone volumes. Below are buttons to choose the headphone source between decks 1, 2 and master. Sitting alongside these are dedicated trims as well as high, mid and low EQs, and finally a filter. I use all of these continually when DJing, and so if any are missing from a controller, it instantly gets marked down. The jog wheels are really responsive and just large enough to be useful, great for both beat matching and scratching. The pitch controls are roughly the same size as on the SB2, which I always found a little small when trying to be really precise, but never actually caused a problem for any of my DJ sets. However, in the SB3 the positioning of them has changed slightly. They now look a little more like my 1210s when I have them set to battle style, with the pitch controls being both on the top right of the jog wheel. I've found this a little annoying to get used to after using the SB2 for so long, as you reach for the pitch controls so often when DJing. There's a key lock and tempo change button sitting next to the 3 effects buttons and level knob. I've always found this section to be very user friendly and straightforward, although it would be nice to have a dedicated level for each effect. You can switch into 4-deck mode on this controller simply by pressing the button next to the jog wheel. One of my favourite things about the DDJ range are the pads, and the SB3 has improved this further by adding dedicated play and cue buttons rather than being integrated into the 8 pads. This leaves the pads solely to trigger cues and effects, and on this new version, the DJ Jazzy Jeff pad scratches too. Alongside these we have the usual array of sampler, slicer, FX fade and more. Situated just next to these are the loop section, vinyl and shift buttons. There's now only one headphone jack, as the larger 1/4-inch version seems to have disappeared from the SB3. When it comes to setting the controller up in a venue, it's very simple, as it has an RCA and USB. But I really would love it if there were some XLRs, as then I could plug into pretty much every PA system. Next to these is a 1/4-inch mic input with volume. Ultimately, the SB3 seems like an all-round improvement to the previous version, as they've kept everything that worked really well, removed anything that was redundant, and added lots of improvements to the unit. There's a few more things I'd love to suggest to Pioneer to upgrade, like the build quality, pitch controller size, outputs and a greater portability to make this controller even better. However, if they did that, they might have a hard time selling any of their other controllers. So far, the SB3 is definitely the best I've found from any of the lower price controllers. If you're looking for something that you can buy to go all the way from beginner to professional DJ, then I would wholeheartedly recommend this to you. It would make an absolutely fantastic gift for DJs of any level. Oh, and if you like this video, please subscribe below.